Hello, everyone. Welcome to Save News TV. And as usual, we have news. And last night we did our first fireside chat that we haven't done in a while. And as we see, there's a need for the fireside chats because you chatters know that things are going on in politics. So, anyway, what we have here is that the surging inflation clears the way for the biggest federal tax hike in years. But this also comes with the announcement that Biden is getting ready to send 1 billion more in aid to the Ukraine. We are in a recession. When is he going to put America first? I feel for the Ukrainians, but they own more Bitcoin than any other nation in the world. Other nations are sending billions upon billions of dollars. Private people, industries are sending billions of dollars. We need to take care of America and Americans. So let's get into this. Biden says U.S. will send 1 billion more in aid to the Ukraine. President Joe Biden said Wednesday the U.S. will send an additional 1 billion in military aid to Ukraine. We're not even in this war. Why? Because of pride or what? This is reminding me, this is giving me very much so George Bush. But anyway, let me get back to it. The largest single triage of weapons and equipment since the war began in an effort to help stall Russia's slow but steady march to conquer the eastern Donbas region. The aid will include anti-ship missile launchers, howitzers, I don't know, I'm not a military person, and more rounds for the high mobility artillery rocket systems that the U.S. forces are training Ukrainian soldiers on now. All key weapon systems that Ukrainian leaders have urgently requested. Biden also said that the U.S. will send 225 million more in humanitarian assistance to provide safe drinking water, medical supplies, food, healthcare, shelter, and money for the families to buy essential items. What about the American families that need to buy essential items? What about the families in America that can't even afford gas, cannot afford food? What about that, Joe Biden? You need to take care of home first. I just don't even understand this concept. There's nothing wrong with helping people, but America is not the bank of America, of the world. We cannot take care of everybody. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be cruel, but even, people say Christians and we should have sympathy and compassion. Yes, you can have sympathy and compassion, but even God said that the poor will always be with you. Now, this is past the point of ridiculous here, especially when we're in a recession, in inflation, and people can't even afford to eat. They can't even get diapers for their children. They can't get Simulax food for their babies. And you over here sending tax hard-earned dollars that people have worked for to somebody else. Okay. The other nations can help now. They have been helping. I'm just let me go on. Where did I leave off? Okay. The U.S. remains committed, Biden said in a statement, to supporting the Ukrainian people whose lives have been ripped apart by this war. Well, our lives in America have been ripped apart by you, Joe Biden. That's why we did the mail order president, return to sender, and even the Democrats are trying to get rid of you now. Okay? The Democrats wants to get rid of you. These things like this is why they want to get rid of you, even though they voted for this funding, and some Republicans. These are the people that need to be out of office. They have no accountability for money. They do not know how to take care of home first, how to budget, how do there's no such a thing as an endless supply of money. This money has to be paid back. Midterm elections, everybody, I need you to remember, it is time to get rid of these spendaholics, okay? They spendaholics. You try not paying your bill. You can't go up to the gas station and fill up your tank and not pay. Matter of fact, you can't even turn on the gas pump without paying first. So why is it that the American government feel that they can continue to do this, buying stuff, sending money, and don't pay, buy now, pay later plan? But anyway, let's finish this and then get over to the inflation. And then there's going to be a tax hike on Americans. Like this right here isn't already enough. Okay, the aid comes as the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin convened a meeting in Brussels for more than 45 nations to discuss support for Ukraine. At the start of the meeting, Austin warned that the West must step up weapons deliveries to Ukraine and provide its commitment to helping the country's military fight along the 1,000-kilometer, 600-mile front line in the grinding war of attrition with Russia. No, we don't. No, we don't. We need to worry about us right now. I just, okay. He urged the participating nations to demonstrate our unwavering determination to get Ukraine the capabilities that is urgently needed to defend itself. And he warned, we can't afford to let up and we can't lose steam. The stakes are too high. No. See, we need to move past these people here. We need to move past these people because it has gotten way out of control. Yes, thank you, Miss Kamina Cox. Yes. I'm telling you, it has gotten to the point where it's just too much. It's too much. So then the article goes on to say, overall, the war began in late February, and the U.S. has committed about $5.6 billion in security assistance to the Ukraine, including this latest package. Okay, officials said that about 1/3 of the latest $1 billion will be from Presidential Downdraw Authority, which means the Pentagon will take weapons and equipment from its own stock and ship to Ukraine. The remaining 2/3 of the equipment and weapons purchased from industry by the U.S. and then transferred to the Ukraine. Look, this is not our war. This is not our problem. We are not in this war. This is not our problem. We have sympathy for them, but this constant giving people money, it's too much. It's just way too much. If Russia decides to retaliate against the United States, what's going to stop them? You busy, even though you quote unquote aren't in the war, you're in the war. You're sending equipment, you're sending military things to annihilate them. I mean, this, like I said, this is giving me George Bush and vibes. The same thing. This is the same way this happened. We are sending billions of dollars needlessly over to a country that has more Bitcoin than any other nation in the world. Any other nation in the world, the Ukraine has more Bitcoin. The Ukraine has more people, more countries sending financial dollars. Even Elon Musk, people sending millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to the Ukraine. This is not our fight, and it is time for us to give it up. This is not our fight. But so I'm not going to go all into that, but we're going to talk about now the we're going to so you can see where our dollars are, where America is suffering. We're suffering because now we're in inflation. We are in a recession. And now the feds are getting ready to hike. This is the biggest tax hike in years. But we busy sending $5.6 billion over to a nation that has more money and less debt than we do. Insane. It's insane. The Federal Reserve is expected Wednesday afternoon to announce the largest interest rate hike since 1994. 1994. We're talking about almost 30 years, the largest tax hike in almost 30 years. But we're sending billions and billions of dollars over to the Ukraine. No, baby. A bigger increase than it had previously signaled, and the sign of the central bank is struggling to retain stubbornly high inflation. They can't even control the inflation that's going on now. But we're sending billions of dollars. Billions. The stock market crashing. People losing their money in the stock market. People losing their retirement in the stock market. Crashing. Tax prices going through the roof. Gas prices going through the roof. Food going through the roof. People can't, like I said, can't feed their children because there's a shortage of baby food. And then can they afford it when they get it? Feminine supply items, difficulty getting. But we sending billions of dollars to somebody. Somebody make this make sense. Make this make sense. The central bank is considered likely to raise its benchmark short-term rate by 0.75%, far larger than the typical quarter-point increase, to the range of 1.5% to 1.75%. It is also likely forecast additional large rate hikes through the end of the year. A series of sizable increases would heighten borrowing costs for consumers and businesses, likely leading to an economic slowdown and raising the risk of recession. We're already in a recession. They're just not telling you this. You know, just by going to the store, just by your day-to-day living, just by your day-to-day purchases, that we are in a recession. Okay? The Fed's previously rate hikes have already had the effect on raising mortgages rates roughly 2% points since the year began, and have slowed home sales. And also, as these interest rates creep up, businesses can't afford to borrow money. You know, inflation is going through the roof. Businesses can't raise salaries because they can't, because of the recession, because it costs more to borrow money. And this is, it's insane. It's insane. It is insane. Other central banks around the world are also acting swiftly to try to quell surging inflation, even with their nations at greater risk of a recession than the U.S. We're already in a recession. We're already in there. We're already here. The European Central Bank is expected to raise rates by 0.25 point in July. Excuse me. Its first increase in 11 years. Now, this man has been in office. See, that's what I'm saying. They've been giving free money. First, it was Afghanistan, bring them over, send, deliver. Now it's the Ukraine, just billions and billions of dollars. We want to be the world's friend. Everybody come in. It has gotten too much. Midterm elections, you all better step up and get these people up out of office, or else we won't have nothing. You probably won't even have, at the rate the gas prices are raising now, you might not even be able to afford to put gas in your car to go vote. That's all I'm saying. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. Let me get back to the article. It could announce a higher hike in September if record high levels of inflation persist. On Wednesday, the ECB vowed to create a market backstop that could buffer member countries against financial turmoil of the kind that erupted during the debt crisis more than a decade ago. And for anybody that's buying a house or thinking about buying a house, you can do what you want to do because you're grown, but I would wait. I would pause, because there is going to be a housing bubble. It's going to crash because of the fact that the housing prices rose way too fast. Prices are gone crazy through the roof, and it can't sustain itself. Let's continue. The global efforts to tighten credit are escalating the risk of a severe downturn in the United States, Europe, and elsewhere. Last week, the World Bank warned of the threat of stagnation, slow growth, accompanied by high inflation around the world. Y'all, I'm telling you, Prepare, if you don't have to spend money, don't spend it. If you want to get you a container garden, a garden outside or something like that, do that. You need to prepare now, because this inflation here is no joke. And it's not going to be, just like a winter type thing. This right here is going to hang on for a while. Let's go on. By the end of 2022, the Fed will have raised the key rate as high as a range from 3.2 to 3.5%. Some economists estimate higher than what was forecast just a few weeks ago. Just a few weeks ago, it's already higher. At that level, the rate would likely be above neutral, meaning at a level that would be intended to slow growth. In March, the Fed had forecast that it would raise rates only from the range of 1.75 to 2% by year's end. Now, this was just in February. They said, okay, we're going to only raise it from 1.75 to 2% by the end of the year. That's high. But now we see that the economists are saying, hey, the way this is going, by the end of the year, it's changed. It's now 3.25% to 3.5%. That's insane. That's inflation. That's recession. Expectations for larger Fed hikes have sent a range of interest rates to its highest point in years. A yield of a 2-year Treasury note, a benchmark of corporate bonds, has just jumped to 3.3%, its highest level since 2007. A 10-year Treasury yield, which affects mortgage rates, has reached 3.4%, up nearly half a point since last year, and nearly the highest level since 2011. The Fed received some mixed news Wednesday morning when the government reported that retail sales declined in 0.3% in May, the first such drop since December, and the sign that the high gas prices may force consumers to spend less on other purchases. A sustained decline in spending could slow the economy, but could also reduce inflation pressures over time. No, because people are doing just all they can do to survive. I mean, they can't survive. Yes, Doug. No, it's not surprising. You're right. Everything for foreign countries and nothing for Americans. It's just like we just here to give. We're here to give to the world. Forget about us. We don't. It's not important. We are here to work like slaves as a nation to support the rest of the world. No. Yes, the housing market is the same. Hedge funds like BlackRock are paying 30% above asking price. So I don't believe like the 2008 recession, the prices will go down. Look, they can't. I understand what you're saying. The prices won't go down, but BlackRock, their stock is plummeting also. Their BlackRock stock has dropped dramatically. So those prices are going to go down because people are not going to be able to pay their mortgages. You can't afford to spend $6, $7, $8 a gallon of gas, which where we're heading. Food at the rocket prices that they are, and maintain the high mortgage rate, which you've already, which a lot of people, especially people that's bought in the past year or so, I say year and a half, have bought the houses at a rate that is way higher than what its value is. So the mortgages are higher. There's no way. And for them to eat too, I'm just saying, yeah. Thanks, Doug. I'm glad you see my point. But it's insane, and I'm very passionate about this because this affects our whole nation, and it is time to pull back. It is time to pull back. We cannot keep doing this as a nation. We cannot keep doing this as a people. This is not about anything other than the saving of our country. and self-preservation. What Joe Biden and the Democrats are doing with all this give is cannibalizing us as a nation. It is eating us up from within. We are being destroyed from within our own nation. I'm just saying. Okay, so after the Fed's last meeting, okay, I read that. But on Friday, the government reported that year after over a year, inflation acceleration unexpectedly in May to 8.6%, the highest such level in 4 decades. I mean, inflation has spread to nearly every corner of the economy. Every corner. The costs are rising from rents, gas, clothing, medical care, and airline fares. I mean, everything. There's no safe space for you to even purchase something. It's like, even when you go to the store, you have to map. I was telling one of my clients today, when I go out to do business or wherever I go out, now I have to map, make sure so I don't be wasting gas. Going someplace, I have to call and make sure I got an appointment. I can't just stop in and say, hey, I got to make sure, because it's a waste, and I know you all go through the same thing. Also on Friday, the customer sentiment survey by the University of Michigan found that Americans' expectations for future inflation are rising. That is worrisome sign for the Fed, because the expectations can begin self-fulfilling. No, it's already self-fulfilling. If people expect higher inflation in the future, they often change their behavior in ways that increase prices. For example, they may accelerate large purchases before they become more expensive. Doing so can intensify demand and further fuel inflation. Now, so what you're saying is people supposed to wait until the prices get super high to purchase something to avoid inflation? No. If you see something at a good deal, like I was sharing with my sister the other day, I said, now it's at the point, if you see something on sale, especially you at the grocery store, and you see it at a good price, you better buy it then. If you got the money, buy it then. Freeze it, restore it, preserve it, whatever. Because the next day you go, or later that day you go to the store, that price is going to rise. That's just the way it is. Okay, the accelerated series of tax rate hikes now expected from the Feds will increase the likelihood of recession over the next year or so. I think we're sort of past the point where a quote unquote soft landing is plausible, says Anika Marcotte, chief economist at investment bank Jefferies, referring to the Fed effort to raise rates enough to slow growth, but not so much to cause a recession. I think they're going to have to cause a contraction. It's causing contraction. We are already in a recession. It is what it is. It is. Yes. Visual. Another billion. Like, just send another billion. Just send another billion. Ain't nothing but money. Send another billion over there. Who cares if interest rates is going up? Who cares if we're in inflation? Who cares if the stock market is crashing? Who cares when the interest rates get so high that businesses can't afford to borrow, can't afford to hire new personnel, can't afford to give people an increase in raises? Who cares? Just send another billion. Just send another billion. It's only $1 billion. Only $1 billion. Because it's a war, and we're not even in this war. You see what I'm saying? We just want to help folks. Stop it. Yes, they're trying to destroy this nation. We are the ones that suffer. Yes, we need some common sense people to run for office. We need some common sense people in these offices. And, I am an independent, but one thing that I'm saying about the Democrats, they got to be removed. It just is what it is. They spend too much money. They all voting for the same thing. And any Republican that vote with the spending, they need to be removed too. Because you don't get a blank checkbook. None of you all get a blank checkbook. I don't get a blank checkbook. I can't just go to a store and, if you go to the store and you write a bad check, what they're going to do? They're going to arrest you, or at least make you pay. And if you don't pay, they're going to arrest you for writing a bad check. But Joe Biden is writing bad checks. The Democrats are writing bad checks all day long. And we are the ones that's having to pay. Our children have nothing to look forward to. Children have nothing, because so much debt is being compounded. Send billions here, send billions there. So their people, let me go back to this, because I want to go back to this, what he said. Where was it? And that really got me. When he said he's sending another billion. Where is it? Oh, okay. Let me highlight this. I need to highlight this so people can understand where I am at. Biden also said the U.S. will send $225 million more in humanitarian assistance to provide safe drinking water, medical supplies, food, healthcare, shelter, and money for families to buy essential items. Okay, again, the Ukraine owns more Bitcoin than any other nation in the world. Let that sink in. Even with Bitcoin, coins prices dropping tens of thousands of dollars, they own more Bitcoin than any nation in the world. They're not, and Joe Biden did, and y'all have to go back and look at the video from last night. It's called Fireside Chat, the Mail Order President, Return to Sender. We talked about where the money is going. This is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. People cannot even buy their basic food needs now. And I'm not talking about just poor people. I'm talking about where it's getting to the middle class, where the middle class is beginning to have problems with even putting food on the table. But we got to make sure that they have to buy essential items. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Oh, yes. So anyway, y'all, I had to come up here real quick. I was like on fire when I saw this article and these articles, and I was like, we have got to do something as a nation. This cannot keep going on. It just cannot. This is not sustainable. It's not. You write a check for something, and if you don't have enough money in your bank account, you know what happens. It is what it is. But anyway, thank you all for joining with me. Thank you all for participating in the chat. I appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe. We definitely need people to know what's going on in this world of today in our country, and to wake up to being able to tell the world what's going on, even though, and don't believe all of these mainstream media, because they're not going to bring the truth. They're going to spin it and make you think everything is lovely, everything is wonderful. We still need to put them back in there and try to use a scare tactic. But we see right now that it is not going to work. Oh, thank you, Doug, for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Look, you better buy you some gas, man. We all need some gas. But anyway, I thank you, Doug. But we definitely want to get this out. Stop voting for people that do not have your best interest in mind. And we know the only way that we can do that is for us to show up at midterm and just send them people right back on their way. Start taking names in your area, how they vote, and everything. As we get closer to midterm elections, we're going to be on it. So thank you, Doug. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But we're definitely going to be on it even more so for the midterm elections, because we definitely need to get this out here. But anyway, everybody, join us at 7:00 tonight. We have Apostle Rico Cox, not Apostle Rico Cox, Apostle Carmina Cox and Apostle Christopher Bell. They'll be doing a special tonight. And so it's not dealing with politics and things, the spiritual side. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you all. God bless, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.